Welcome back to another episode of Sips with Scrubs. With hurricane season coming to a close, I definitely wanted to get into some of the disaster plan and management and things that nurses have to endure during those times. Particularly hurricanes because that's what we deal down here in the dirty South. Okay, H-Town, hold it down. So that's the ones that I'm most familiar with. So that's what we'll be touching on today's episode. So we'll be talking about my disaster experiences and also my thoughts regarding the expectations of bedside nursing when this occurs. So if you guys are interested in that topic, then keep on watching. Y'all know, I live in Houston. So the weather down here it be something else. And if y'all live in Houston, y'all know we be getting tornadoes, we get hurricanes, bad rain, it floods everywhere. No one is safe at all. So I have a couple of experiences that I've had with bad weather and then disaster stuff. So a couple of them that comes to mind is that when I was getting married, of course I requested PTO off and I got it approved. So I think it was August. That was when our wedding was. And I don't remember like that because we had two weddings and it was during COVID. So y'all know that time is kind of like a blur for everybody. So it was August. The hurricane didn't even hit here. It hit somewhere else. I can't remember what that hurricane name was because that's how much it wasn't on my radar. But nevertheless, it was like somewhere in the vicinity because I know my cousins from Port Arthur, they ended up evacuating because they almost kind of evacuate most of the time when they having hurricanes because of, Harvey and stuff like that. So they evacuated and I was on PTO and I get a call from my manager at the time talking about they're enacting I don't know what they call, Team A, Team B. I can't remember what the actual name for it is, but they're enacting that. And I think at the time I might have been Team A, which is the team that stays up there when there's a hurricane and you're working while the hurricane is going on. Team B is the one who comes after the hurricane is done and you're relieving the first people that was there. So she called me talking about I need to come in. And I was like, I'm on PTO. And she's like, it doesn't matter if you're on PTO, if we enact whatever the thing is called, the protocol, that I needed to come in. And I was just like, I'm not coming in because I'm on PTO for my wedding. And I basically left it at that. And I think she tried to tell me that I was going to get in trouble or something like that. And I was just like, okay, I'm about sick of these people trying to tell us what we can and cannot do and what trouble we go be in. Where is the policy, babe? Pull it up. So, needless to say, I didn't get in trouble. And I was like, I'm on PTO. Why would I have to even come in for that? If y'all are familiar with those type of situations, definitely drop down in the comments and let me know because I've never heard of that before. I'm like, if I'm PTO, I'm not here. Like, they didn't know anything about my wedding. So how I wasn't in Mexico or somewhere else for my wedding? Or I was on my honeymoon or something and you talking about come in. Like, girl, goodbye. Go find somebody else because I'm not doing it. So if y'all have any experience what it's supposed to be or if it's like a facility type thing, let me know because I still am curious about that. But of course, like I said, I didn't go in. So I was just like, whatever. And I didn't get in trouble for it. So I don't know if she was capping or what, but that's one experience I had. Another one I have had is I told y'all in Houston, it'd be Houston in one time in February, or actually I think it was March, there was an ice storm here. So y'all know we don't know what to do down in the South when it's ice on the roads and stuff. I was afraid. I was like, I'm not about to get in no accident, mess up my car and have to get a new one. Because, well, it didn't matter if the car paid off or not, but the car is paid off. I don't want to mess up my car and have to figure out what I'm going to do for damages and etc. No. So it was an ice storm here, like I was saying before. And I was starting a new job and they weren't saying anything like if they expected us to come in or not, because this is orientation. So I didn't have anybody contact information because I wasn't starting on the unit. It was like HR type stuff. So I'm trying to like message the recruiter, message whoever had told me the information about the modules we needed to do. Like, okay, like are we having class or what? Because the ice storm, hey, like what y'all want to do? And they took forever to respond. I think it was like it wasn't that day. But like you trying to make preparations. I can't prepare nothing if I don't know what the situation is. So was it that day? I can't remember the details of it. I just remember it was very last minute, and then they told us that they were rescheduling our orientation for a later week. So I mean that ended up working out because of that. But I was just like, y'all have such poor planning. Like, do y'all not watch the weather? Like, be for real. And then it's just a mess because, like I said, I didn't have anybody's contact information. So I was just like, I'm doing all that I know that I can do. And now that I'm looking back, I don't know why I let these situations stress me out. Because if I'm done all I can do, then okay. If it is a situation of like, oh, this, that, and the third, it's like, okay, well, I did X, I did this, you did not respond. So, but I think it was more so like, oh, I'm starting a new job. I don't know nothing about the job. Like, I don't want to lose my job. I like this position, or I like what I think I'm going to get into. So I think it was a little bit of that. But I don't know. I think I was nursing for 4 years or 3 years at that point. But I think now at this time, I'm just like, I don't care. I don't think I care. But at that time, I remember being very stressed on like what I'm supposed to do. So that's one situation. And then the last one that is actually very recent. When I took that assignment at the radiation oncology clinic, it was like I was there for a couple of weeks, and then Hurricane Beryl happened. For y'all that are down here with us, y'all remember Beryl because literally that was like a couple of months ago. But that happened, and once again, lack of communication. They like the hurricane didn't affect my area that bad, so like I was like, okay, I'm assuming like the day that the hurricane's happening, we're not going to work. Like they're going to close the clinic because what patients are about to drive up there? Like, so they. How did I find out they was canceling? I think we just knew, or like we've talked about it before. Like, oh, they're. I can't remember if I got an email. Oh, I got bad memory. Y'all know my brain is for real. I just know I didn't go into work, or maybe I knew I wasn't going, but I think they also said like not to go. I think the manager messaged me. So the thing is, yeah, that's what it was. Y'all, stay with me now. Yeah, the manager messaged me and said that we weren't coming in, but I think I wasn't gonna go in anyway. And then like the next day, it was over, so I drove into work, and lo and behold and lo, ain't nobody was there. And it stank. The air was off. There was no lights, nothing. And I was like, okay, where is everybody? Because look at the state of things. But I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, so I'm trying to call the manager. There's no signal because everything is out. I walked into the hospital because the clinic is like attached to the hospital. So where the clinic was, there was nothing. So I went into the hospital and I got a little piece of a signal, and I called her, and she was like, "Oh, I forgot to message you to tell you that we weren't opening the clinic today." I was like, "What?" Well, I'm up here now. I was like, "Okay, I'm going home." While I was telling y'all that part, I actually remembered another part. So I think we were off work for 3 days because that first day we didn't come in, and then I think that one of them days they were trying to say come in. Oh no. Okay, y'all, I told y'all bear with me. It's the mom brain. Okay, here's how it went. The first day we didn't go in. That second day I came in, but she didn't tell me not to come in. So I left to go home. That third day, because then there was no power. So they were like, how are we going to see patients, etc. That third day, they ended up having patients come in after like 1 o'clock or something. And I think like one of the machines was up. So then they started treating patients and then seeing people for their follow-up appointment and doing paper charting. But that day I didn't come in either because what was it? it was a reason why I came in. I don't know if it was because of her or something, but it was a reason why I didn't come in, and I was like, I'm not coming. So yeah, so it's just always a hot mess with these disaster planning. Really is like lack thereof. Like they don't plan properly. Y'all know we gonna have hurricanes down here, so why don't y'all do a better job of that? And y'all watch the news like we do, so you see that we in the path of destruction, and you just waiting. My other um my other issue with them is that I've been hearing a lot of like messed up stuff regarding disaster pay. If y'all don't pay them people for spending their time coming up there and not being with their family or being able to evacuate because they come in to try to take care of patients, that's like insane. I remember one of my friends, Kelsey, for Hurricane Beryl, she drove into work early, like earlier that morning to get there safely before the rain and all that stuff actually came. Like, I'm not doing that at this time in my life. I'm just going to wait until I'm supposed to leave, and then I'm going to come in if I can. If I can't, I can't. Because I'm not getting paid extra for waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning to drive in. You know what I'm saying? It's a different situation if they make the proper arrangements and they're like, oh, if you want to stay here at the night so that you can get here safely and whatever. And they supposed to pay you for that too. Um, we'll pay you or we'll make the accommodations and stuff. Okay, that's one thing. But if you ain't paying me and you're not helping trying to accommodate staff to try to get there safely, I'm not doing it. Luckily, with the position that I have now, I'm not required to do so. There is no team A, team B, and so I don't have to do the disaster stuff no more. But with that being said, let's get into these other nurses' experiences. So I follow a Facebook group and I got some of the stuff from there on different people experiences with these freaking hurricanes and like their job doing funny acting stuff. So the first nurse, she put, I'm in Florida and my hospital is in the direct path of Hurricane Milton. Our division decided not to activate disaster team A until tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., knowing that weather will already be bad by then. We are still expected to drive to work in dangerous weather. Like, this is the stuff I'm talking about, the lack of planning. So I did read the comments and I agree with the sentiments of some. Are y'all willing to lose y'all job? Because a lot of people be talking about, well, if they fire you, oh well. And I'd be like, I mean, I know it's not hard to get a job when you're a nurse, but at the same time, like, I'm not gonna be out here trying to get fired like that because of something. So if there's something I can do, I'll do it. But if I can't do it, I can't. But I don't know. Everybody was willing to risk it all, which I guess in comparison of risk your life, risk your car, risk your job, a lot of people may choose risk your job, which I would choose too, because I'm not dying for you. And as I told y'all with the ice storm with the car, I'm like, we got to figure something out. But a lot of people in the comments, and I did kind of see the loophole. So the disaster team isn't activated until 7 a.m. So what they told this nurse to do was to call in because it ain't enacted to 7. So that was one way of going about it. And then another people were saying that, I mean, like, if you can't make it, you can't make it. It's much like I was saying before. I don't know why I let some of them situations stress me out. If you look outside and it's dangerous conditions and you don't feel safe, that's the end of the statement. If you don't feel safe, then we're not going. Like, what are we doing? So I think, I don't know. I feel like nurses, we advocate for everybody but ourselves. And I just think that that's part of the issue as well. So with that, it's just kind of like, do what you can, man. So y'all be safe out here in these streets and don't be risking y'all life for people who don't care about you for real, for real. Another nurse said, I want to evacuate from Florida. The scheduler is telling me I have to get permission from the director of nursing to be taken off the schedule. Now, with this situation, it sounds like this nurse is not like a bedside nurse because I don't know, unless that's like a policy type thing. You got to ask the director of nursing because it's like the disaster team thing. But with this situation with Florida, I mean, the evacuation stuff makes sense because then you got to think about your family too. Like, what if you're a single mom or like if you got the stuff going on? But with that being said, it's kind of like, it's kind of hard because then it's like you was a single mom before. Why didn't you make the proper arrangements so that you could take care of your kids if that situation should arise? Because then it's like, okay, of course your kids are going to be out of school. Like figuring out childcare should have already been arranged and things of that nature. And that might have also determined which team you would have been on. So I'm like, I be getting it, but sometimes I be like, sometimes it's us too. Like we didn't prepare properly. But I think that probably with this, having to get permission from the director of nursing to be taken off the schedule. I know sometimes like with holidays, in order to deter people from like calling out, they have you call your manager or inform your manager that you won't be able to do your shift. And I think that's kind of like a scare tactic because they're like, oh, like you'll call out regular for anything else, but you're not gonna call your manager and be like, I'm not coming. So maybe because it's like disaster stuff, they're telling you that you have to go to their director of nursing. But hey, stand 10 toes down. If you can't come, you can't come. Or if you don't want to come and you feel like you need to evacuate for whatever reason, go ahead and call them up and be like, hey, I'm not coming. And then, I mean, let the chips fall where they may. The last nurse that we'll get into for today, she states, I've been working as staffing coordinator at my rehab slash LTC for the past 6 weeks since our last one quit. They can't find one yet. Since I'm in Florida, okay, this is Hurricane Milton again, y'all. They activated Team A slash B this morning. We already understaffed, especially for CNA. So far, 3 nurses called off and 5 CNA. Some of them mentioned it raining heavily. They can't come, and plus they were told they will be. This is I'm reading it verbatim. They were told they will be no disaster bonus. My DNO went home since 9 a.m. She only came for 3 hours this morning. They want me to stay or I'll get written up. I told them I couldn't be team A. I have a special needs son. I need to be home. She told me that abandonment, but I've been working as staffing for the past month. Is it considered abandonment? I'm supposed to leave at 2 p.m. This one is tricky because it's abandonment is when you have an assignment and you literally abandon your patients. But it seems like you're a bedside nurse, but lately you've been working as a staffing coordinator. I feel like they could get you on this because it's like you're working as a staffing coordinator, but did you sign the contract or paperwork to work as a staffing coordinator? Because if you're just working in somebody's position when you're really a bedside nurse, I feel like they could try to get you on that and be like, well, you're actually really a bedside nurse, so you should be doing the team stuff. But at the same time, why wasn't Team A and Team B set up from the get go? That should have already been done. But of course, like you're just filling in for somebody until they get the position, so you probably didn't even know you would still be doing staffing when a hurricane hit. Also at the same time, it's like, but you really not a staffing coordinator though. You're a bedside nurse. So this is tricky. Y'all let me know y'all comments on this one. Y'all thoughts. Because you have been working at staffing for the past month, but I don't think that makes you a staffing coordinator because that's not actually your job. So I feel like your job description is still a bedside nurse and that you should report. But if they didn't make teams in advance, that's not your problem. So you telling them you can't be team A and you have a special needs son. Let's talk about it. The family always comes first, right? We can get another job, but if you don't have anybody that you feel comfortable with taking care of your kid while you're up there trying to do your job, then I mean that's just the end of it right there. So we going home, or I'll come later. But if you don't have anybody that could take care of them on your team A, would you be able to have somebody take care of them after the fact when you're team B? Questions that need answers. But I just feel like us actually calling out and like not breaking our back to do other stuff will make them plan better. And I feel like it's kind of like a ongoing cycle of like we figure it out as nurses, and because we figure it out, people be like, oh well, we made it work last time, and they don't actually make the proper adjustments that they need to. I think with us like making ends meet as nurses and just making like lemonade out of lemons, it puts them in positions where they're like, oh, well, we worked it out last time. So they don't ever do anything like to correct the issue for real, for real. Like we know it's a problem, but on the outcome side, they just see that like people showed up for work and the patients got taken care of. So I feel like us actually calling out when we need to and not breaking our backs, trying to figure out how we go get to work, trying to figure out how do we do childcare. I feel like that will help push the envelope and make policies and procedures change for the better. That, I mean, that's the optimistic me thinking that, but I don't know. Sometimes these people don't care and they just be like, we just go fire you and get somebody else to do it because somebody else always will do it. That's the problem. I don't know, y'all. It's tricky, like I said. Y'all definitely give y'all experiences down below if y'all have had any crappy experiences with like the disaster teams and things of that nature, poor planning when it comes to hurricane or ice storms or whatever y'all have going on in y'all states. And we'll see you guys in another episode of Sips of Scrub.